Have you ever wondered what's the better pour? The first pour out of a bottle or the last pour? Let's find out. What's going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys a brand new video. Today, we are going to find out if the last pour out of a bottle of bourbon is truly better than the first pour out of a bottle. So on the bar top, we have 2 bottles of Woodford Double Oak. This one right here was one of the first bottles that I ever had. I'd gotten it for a Christmas present last year by my fiance's family, and I've been drinking it very, very sparingly. I've enjoyed it very, very much. Today, I decided to pick up a new bottle of Woodford Double Oak, and I want to see if the new bottle is hands down better than the old bottle. So without further ado, we're going to do this blind. We're going to see which one comes out on top. All right, so without further ado, we have our old bottle, and we've got our fresh crack. Good old cork pop there. And you guys know the deal. Let's get to spinning. All right, so we're gonna go right into the nose, and we're gonna see if one of these noses actually stands out to be a little bit more strong and prevalent compared to the other one. Very, very sweet vanilla, marshmallows, a little touch of a cherry, burnt sugars. Wow, very similar. Very, very similar. That's very interesting. They both smell so similar. If I were to say anything, the one in my left hand is a little bit more subdued on those nose notes. This one here has a little bit more cherry, where this one is more of like a vanilla sweetness. This one on my right has a little bit more fruit forward, where the one on my left has a lot more of those sweeter aspects. This is very interesting. Not one of these stands out more on the nose comparative to one being, supposedly when you have a bottle that is this low, the alcohol content drops, the flavor on the bottle drops, the nose supposedly is supposed to have a little more ethanol forward comparative to a brand new bottle that is full, that is going to have all of those aspects of what that bourbon is supposed to have. And I'm not finding anything completely different on these noses. But let's get into the palate. Let's start with the one on our left, and let's see if something stands out from this glass that would make me think that it's not a brand new bottle of bourbon. It's a little thin. I'm going to say that right now. It's a little thin, but I'm getting a sweet oak. Obviously, it's a double oak. You're going to get a little bit of oakiness out of there. A little toasty too, you know? But I'm getting marshmallows, a little bit of vanilla. I'm going to get into this second glass here and see if anything stands out, because that one's a little thin. But also, Woodford Double Oak is, I believe, 90.4 proof. Yeah, 90.4 proof. So it's on the lower proof side. Usually it stands out a little bit more on a flavor aspect than that. This one's a little bit more richer. It's got a little bit more going for it. There's a little bit more of a richy, creamy aspect to the palate, whereas this one was thin, a little bit watery. Not gonna lie. Palate-wise, I like this one a little bit more. That's very interesting. I don't know if it's the new bottle or not. That's very interesting. There's a very, very rounded sweetness coming off of that with a touch of fruit, like on the cherry on the back end there. Whereas this one here, light, sweet, but nothing more robust than that sweetness that was coming off of the original palate. Yeah, that's very interesting. Now this can go two ways. You have the neck pour coming out of this bottle, and a lot of people will either say the neck pour is the best pour, or the neck pour is just a run-of-the-mill pour. And that's mainly due to the fact that this bottle hasn't had air in it, and it hasn't been able to breathe. A little bit of oxygen helps aerate that bourbon a little bit, whereas the neck pour, you don't really have a lot of oxygen in there, and that bourbon wasn't able to breathe. This bottle right here, as you can see, has been able to breathe for quite a while. So if I were to pick my favorite out of these two, I'm gonna have to go with the one on my right, your left, because the nose was a little bit more robust. There was a lot more that I could find on the nose. You know, you had that sweet vanilla, the marshmallow, a little bit of toastiness, but I also found a little bit of a cherry aspect going on for it. Going back into the nose now, there's a little bit touch of a chocolate. There's a dark chocolate on the nose, whereas this one here, it's lighter. It's much lighter. So I'm gonna have to give the nose to glass 2 on my right, And I think palate-wise, I'm also gonna have to give it to glass 2. That's delicious. Whereas this glass, not gonna lie, glass 1 on my left here has a little bit more ethanol, and it's not as rich. It's really not as rich. So I'm gonna have to give the edge to glass 2 here on my right. And let's find out what that glass is. Oh, no way. There's no way. Holy cow. That's interesting. My preferred glass was the old Woodford Reserve Double Oak. I was not seeing that. I couldn't have guessed that in a million years. That a bottle that I've had for well over a year now, and towards the tail end of its life, has beaten out the brand new bottle of Woodford Double Oak. Now, I'm gonna go as far as to say as that's due to the neck pour, but I could be completely wrong. I want you guys to leave your theories and hypotheses down in the comments below on why you think the older Woodford Reserve Double Oak, the one that I have had for well over a year, has beaten out the brand new bottle, the first pour out of the bottle. Why this bottle right here took down the new bottle. I want to see what your comments are down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed this one. This was a fun one. We have a lot more experiments coming in the future. Make sure you guys check out the store. Make sure you check out the Patreon down below. Until next time, this has been Nathan with the Everyday Drinker. Cheers.